You are listening to the Coach's Corner Show on KYNT, Yankton's home team. Now, let's get you caught up on Yankton High School athletics with KYNT Sports Director and the voice of the Bucks and Gazelles, Bryce Ladwig.
All right, good morning here, 1019 Broadway Avenue. Bryce Ladwig with you. 1019 Broadway Avenue, as I just said. Man, it's going to be a long morning. All right, I'm already repeating myself. But, yeah, long day ahead for me. Coach's Corner here this morning. Thank you for joining us. And then Yankton soccer doubleheader over at Creighton Youngworth Field. And then Mount Marty Lancer football tonight. So it's going to be a journey for sure. But if you're not putting in like 18-hour days, are you really even working? That's my question here. But we're actually going to skip our opening segment and jump right immediately into Yankton High School Activities Director Ryan Moores, who joins us in the studio. And then we'll talk to all the Yankton Bucks football coaches. And I have a lot of recordings today. It's a busy weekend for a lot of folks. So we'll get all of that for you straight ahead. But join me, as I said, in the studio, Yankton High School Activities Director Ryan Moores. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I am doing just fine. I'm sure you're doing well. Let's start off with some big news in the Moores household.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it away.
I would say, yeah, that is big news. So I didn't expect to announce this over the airwaves, but that's okay. It's already a done deal, so it's no big deal.
It's social media.
Social media, it's out there. So, yeah, congratulations to my oldest son, Matthew. He was engaged to his girlfriend of 5 years, Gabby Pietla, last weekend in Minneapolis after the SDSU Drake football game at Target Field. So kind of I would say quite a fun and exciting weekend for both families last weekend. So pretty cool. You bet.
Well, congratulations to you and your family, to Matthew, to Gabby, to everyone involved. That's big news.
You bet.
Today in Yankton or the surrounding area, we have some weather moving in. And before we talk about today's alternate plans or however that might work, walk me through, as we did all winter and then early this year, with what cancellations have we had, what postponements have we had? What's your week been like?
It's been an interesting week, nonetheless, to say the least. You know, all that rain we received on Thursday morning kind of put us out of luck for playing or for having our cross-country invite that day. You know, I had communication early in that morning with Fox Run Golf Course, and we did realize that the weather would be moving out for the afternoon, but with the amount of rain that fell on Thursday morning, you know, you got to respect the decisions of the golf course. We don't want to tear that place up. They were scheduled to have a tournament out there yesterday, perhaps today if the weather allows it to happen, and the ESD boys golf tournament is actually out there on Monday as well. So you know, they just really didn't want us to go rip the course up, and I totally appreciate and respect that. So we found a rescheduled date. We're going to try to do it again on Monday, October 2nd. So it looks like we'll get about half the teams back because, of course, other teams have commitments on their schedule. So the good news is we do have a rescheduled date. The bad news was it just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. And you know, last week we had an interesting situation, too, with our freshman football team, Dakota Valley. We were scheduled to play them down south here on Thursday and got a call about a week and a half ago that they didn't have enough numbers to continue their freshman season. So make a long story short, West Central was actually looking to fill a couple games for whatever reasons they lost to, and it just happened to work out that Thursday we were able to replace the Dakota Valley game with the West Central game. So our guys got to go up north and play, and that was a little bit of an interesting situation too because they had so much rain they didn't want the freshman game to be played on their main varsity field, which is still grass. So the guys actually played the game on their practice field up there. So lo and behold, they still got the game in, but it was on a practice field, a little bit different scenario for sure up there.
Meet me in the parking lot.
Absolutely. It's kind of the way it worked.
No, but at least sometimes things do work out, right? As you mentioned.
Absolutely. Yep.
Sometimes the stars do align. So
sometimes you strike out and sometimes you hit a home run, right?
And we're hoping for a home run today. Me especially. I'm just being selfish here. I'm going to be at Creighton Youngworth all day. I know you're going to be there a long time, but I'm also there for Mount Marty football tonight.
You have to stick around after I get to go home, but it's going to be – I have a feeling we're going to be in for a little bit longer day than normal as we both hear the thunder rumble outside the window right now.
All right, well, here we go. As it's set right now is a 12 o'clock start for Yankton soccer doubleheader, and then I believe it's a 7 o'clock kickoff for Mount Marty football. What are some alternative plans and what would stop the soccer game? I know lightning.
Right.
First of all, would rain stop soccer?
Rain will not stop it. We will play through the rain. Lightning is what is going to set us back today. So Andy Bernardo and I have been in contact all week as we saw this potentially happening. You know, this is the final week of the South Dakota High School Activities Association soccer season. We have a game at Roosevelt on Tuesday. We actually have Thursday off, but Thursday's coronation, so that wouldn't work for us anyway. Aberdeen plays on Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And, the playoffs start the following Tuesday, which I believe is October 3rd. So realistically, we got to get this game in today. So Aberdeen left at 6:45 this morning, expected to arrive at 10:45 a.m. Games are scheduled to start at noon. If at all possible, we will start at noon if it's just raining. If there's lightning out there, we will delay it. For those who don't know the Activities Association protocol, every time there's a lightning strike within 10 miles of the facility, we have to have a 30-minute delay go on. So we'll have the clock running, and every time we get a lightning strike within 10 miles, we'll hit the reset button and throw 30 minutes back up there. Looking at the weather reports today, I know I'm not a licensed meteorologist, but I have been studying this pretty intensely, and the district has a meteorological team that we work with, Dr. Kindle, for example, when, depending on whether school is canceled in the winter with winter storms and such. So we've been communicating with them, and we're kind of hopeful between the 12 o'clock and 1 p.m. hour. The worst of this is in and out of here, and there is a chance of some lingering pop-up showers kind of between 12:30 and 3 o'clock. So, but I think after 2:30 to 3 p.m., we're in the clear. However,
at least from lightning, right?
From lightning, yeah. If we can't get going until that point in time, then just everything that you're thinking of, is going to be pushed back 2 or 3 hours, including the Mount Marty football game tonight. There is a little bit of window of time between our scheduled ending time of the soccer games and Mount Marty's kickoff, where they may have to squeeze down the time in between. And lo and behold, one way or the other, we will get all 3 of these games in today. And you can't control Mother Nature, so we'll just do the best we can, and whatever she takes us, we'll roll with it.
If you ever want to see a NASCAR pit crew live, but not with NASCAR, but with equipment, in between games, come up into our 2 booths that we use, because
you'll be rolling quick, I bet.
We change out equipment pretty fast, so it's going to be hectic.
Well, let's just hope at that point it's dry outside your door of the booth, so you don't have to get all wet while you're working on that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you coming in. I know you got to get over to Crane here soon, and I got to get the show moving because I have to get over to soccer as well. So thanks for joining us, and congratulations again to the family.
Yeah, you appreciate it, and just for everybody to know, it's homecoming week at YHS coming up.
Nope, we're gonna pause.
Oh, we're gonna pause. Apologize. Okay, nope.
My mind is all on the weather today.
Weather is that's the first and foremost on all of our minds. But yeah, I just want to give you a quick reminder that we've got homecoming rolling up this week.
Yeah, and kind of run us through the week quickly, Ryan. Sorry to put you on the spot there. I'm glad you brought it up, though, because I would have been like, oh, man, I forgot about homecoming.
No, that's all right. So basically, homecoming festivities, for the most part, at school kind of take place with little daily dress-up days. So we'll skip up to Thursday, the 28th. So Thursday the 28th, we have the Yankton High School Athletic and Fine Arts Hall of Fame induction banquet at the high school commons. I did bring a sheet of paper with me because I didn't want to leave anybody out, but these are the inductees we'll be recognizing that day. Bob Beard, YHS staff member from 1995 to 2016. He's being inducted into the Fine Arts Hall of Fame. Justin Frick, athlete from the class of 2003, obviously Athletic Hall of Fame. Jenny Goodall, class of 1994, she'll be Athletic Hall of Fame. Derek Hesick, class of 1999, Fine Arts Hall of Fame. Ruth Thompson LeMay, class of 1982, Fine Arts Hall of Fame. Dan Speck, class of 1986, Athletic Hall of Fame. And Andrea Walsh, class of 2006, Athletic Hall of Fame. So 7 inductees that night. That starts at 5 p.m. It's free to the public. We welcome everybody to attend. And if you know any of those folks, come in and, recognize their career achievements for being inducted into our Hall of Fame. And if you want to stick around that evening, 7 p.m. is coronation in the main gym. That's always a fun event for the community and the kids. Of course, that's free of charge also. And then the burning of the Y is after coronation in the back parking lot behind the high school. And then on Friday, different day at school, kind of a fun day for the kids over there. Get out early, 2 o'clock dismissal, but 2:30 p.m. downtown is the parade. The gates for the football game over here open up at Crane at 5:30 p.m. At 5:30, it's the Booster Club's tailgate over in the plaza area next to the concessions. So all those proceeds go to help the Booster Club, which obviously help the Yankton High School in the long run. And then, of course, we got a lot of pregame festivities with the royalty, with the Hall of Fame inductees. The band is involved, and then, of course, kickoff is 7 p.m. So that's a quick snapshot of Thursday and Friday this week for homecoming, but it's looking like it'll be a fun week at YHS.
Wow, that was very efficient, Ryan.
Thanks. I try to do my best.
Yeah, that was very efficient. I put you on the spot, and you hit all the numbers, so I appreciate it. Have a good homecoming week, but also I'll see you over at Crane later today.
Sounds good. Bring your rain gear.
Oh, I will. That was the Yankton High School Activities Director, Ryan Moores. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
All right, the Yankton Bucks victorious last night, 37-26 at T Area. And folks, that is a 19-game home winning streak from T Area that was snapped by the Yankton Bucks last night, and just a great victory for Yankton. Yankton a 4-1 on the season, and being joined by Coach Brady Muth, Coach Justin Olson. Coaches, good morning.
Good morning, Bryce.
Hey, good morning, Bryce.
Hey, mornings are always better after a victory, right?
Say that again.
Seem to be a little more chipper.
Yep, everyone's just a little more happy today, especially this rivalry. This is the third year facing a T Area, right? But it just seems like if a rivalry is building, it's kind of with T Area. I mean, it's chippy. It's always something on the line, and it just it always seems to be good games.
Yeah. I thought in physical, and that was T is a very physical football team. I would say. Before they're a wing T team, before they're a pressure defense team, they're a physical football team. And so our guys knew that going in. And if you go into a game like that saying we're going to match their physicality, you're going to get beat. So I was very happy with the level of physicality. Some of the the chippiness and the chirping and stuff like that, we got to figure that out and keep our composure a little bit better. And I thought for the most part our guys did. We talked to them a lot about penalties this week. Like we got to stop with helping the other team out with free yards, and we got a little bit better in that aspect, but very happy with how physical we played last night.
All right, Coach Olson, Yankton's defense. Just wow, what a great first half, especially. Only a kick return touchdown in the first half, which is on the special teams, right? So a shutout for the Yankton defensive side of the ball. And by the way, we'll get also to the unlikelihood of having 2 back-to-back kick return touchdowns. That was kind of a crazy night, but just the overall snapshot, and we'll get more into detail as our talk progresses here this morning, but just immediate thoughts with just a stellar performance from the defense.
Yeah, I was very excited, very proud of those guys. We had, Bryce Crowell had to step into, a role, which we preach next man up, and, he did a good job there in the first half, along with the rest of the guys, just shutting them down. We knew what they were going to do. And they executed, and they did. They tackled. They were physical. They were assignment ready, and for the most part, it turned out to a good half of football for us. And so excited just to see them, react the way they did and come out and And then the offense was clicking too there. So it was a great first half of football, for the Yankton Bucks.
The other thing too is just how fast they played on defense last night. We played the quickness that we made reads and got to the gap. That's as fast as we played defensively this year. And the big thing on that is our guys knew what they were prepared, and they knew what to do. They didn't second guess. And so if we can keep that going where we're playing that fast physical football on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bryce Krall, best name in the game, by the way. He had the sack, great defensive effort, moving fast to the ball. Matthew Sheldon just being the tree that he is, just a stump.
He's a force, and that was like, as Coach was alluded to, that was that fast first step. Yeah. He was reading what he needed to do, and then he didn't second guess and just shot and made some things happen. That's what happens, and everyone rallied behind him. So that was fun to see for sure.
A gentleman from T area that was in the press box, and he came up to us. We were getting pronunciations and stuff for the game, and he looks out there and he's like, "Yeah, that number 5 out there, that's a grown man." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a big guy out there, and he's very athletic and he's very talented." So, yeah, people are noticing, and I think he strikes a little bit of fear into some teams.
He should. He's got a mustache. Yeah. He looks like Charles Bronson from Death Wish.
Yeah,
he is. When Matt, being on the field with him is a different deal with Shelley. That guy gets in a zone, and you just do your best to stay out of the way. When he's locked in, he is a dangerous, dangerous weapon on a football field, and he had a good game last night.
So because you agree, I'll tell you what we always say back to that, because we've heard it multiple times. This is a running inside joke we always have. We're like, yeah, that's 2 mortgages and a wife and 2 kids out there, that guy. No, but it's very impressive. Donald Rounds, some big defensive plays as well. And I'm just looking at kind of the notes I came up with on the way home last night. Frankie the Monster Infeld. That happened.
Frankie the Monster. I got you.
Frankie the Monster. 2 sacks, pressures, and some big plays as well.
The thing is with our team in general, I think we do a good job of preparing them for next man up, and they have that mentality, and that's not even. I mean, we can kickstart that mentality, but then I think just with the senior leadership and just kind of how this group is, they just kind of know that they just need to be ready and just step up, and they're not afraid to do it. They're just going to step in and do it. Frankie, we had some injuries happen, and Frankie stepped up and had to come in, and we were confident in him, and he was confident in what he had to do, and stepped in first play and got a sack, and then ended up picking up another one later on. And so that makes us feel very comfortable, and that makes his teammates feel comfortable that you have the next guy up, did a great job, and that continued that helped the defense to continue to play fast, and then everyone just worried about what they had to do in their role. And so Donald Rounds again was one of those guys too, was just kind of evolving into kind of not what his role started out to be, probably in the offseason, and then even into fall camp, and then he kind of developed into this guy where he's one of our best tacklers, and he showed up last night, and he did a great job.
Yeah, and with Shaler Platt out, you were kind of alluded to this and mentioned it actually. Even players like Tucker Gilmore coming in there, and he had some big hits as well, kind of in that linebacking area.
Yeah, I think some people forget how physical Tucker can be, and he'll catch the ball and run you over too, which we saw also. So he's a big dude to come in and lay a lick on you, and he filled up real nice for us in those gaps that need to be filled.
All right, and Coach Muth, just before we get more to the offensive side, just kind of the overall picture as a team whole, just kind of the most generic question you're ever going to hear this morning, but just kind of how does it feel, not just breaking the streak because you don't care, but it's just a huge deal, and you could just tell it felt just a little extra special last night.
Well, we say all the time that every game's a Super Bowl, and don't let any one game get bigger than the other. We talked to our guys during Watertown Week about we have 3 games here coming up where they're going to be teams that are ranked, and we need to show up and we need to compete and win for a lot of reasons, but the most important is we need to compete because we just need to win. I think our guys understand, though, this game last night, how important this is down the road. We don't want them looking to the future. We want them living in the now. But to go out and to show up when you have to, that tells me that we're evolving a little bit and we're moving in the right direction. And so I can't say enough with just, you know, anytime you put a person in a situation where it feels like it's a must-win, you know, there's a 50-50 shot on that deal. It did not feel like it was a 50-50 shot last night. When we walked on the field, it didn't feel like this was a toss-up. It felt like we were going to take care of business. And that, from just a 30,000-foot view on it, that more than scheme, more than, you know, execution and a game plan, all of those things, having a mindset like that tells you that these guys are they're on the verge of doing something really special.
In the way that the offense got started as well, the tone was set early, and I kept saying on the broadcast that Yankton got off the bus ready to play.
Yeah,
and it really felt like that.
And you know, every group is different. Some guys like music, some guys like silence. These guys, when they prepare for a game, it's like they're in a monastery. Everything is for the most part pretty controlled, and you don't really know, and we haven't really known if are these guys ready to go? Is this focus? Are they bored? What's going on? I think we know at this point it's focus. And the way that they were focused and they're locked in, ready to go this week, if we got to keep practicing that way, because the results that we had last night are too good not to, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I always feel bad. I want to go into like every individual offensive player with you as well, but we'll jump into more with the rest of the coaches. But there's a couple I want you to talk about. First of all, let's talk about your quarterback, Luke Kampshoff, last night. Just an efficient night, 15 of 25, 181 through the air, a touchdown. Was able to tuck and run when he had to, and just really was the general on the field. It was just poised.
Yeah, that's a great word right there, is poised. You know, Lucas is one of the most mature athletes I've ever been around. Trying to get him to crack a smile and enjoy things. He's a quiet kid to begin with, but I don't know sometimes if he realizes how special some of the things he does. And last night, he's in a tight spot because they're going to bring pressure, and he has to get the ball out quick, and it's got to be on the spot. And it's in a man defense, so you can't throw to a hole. You have to throw a pass that's going to beat somebody and out-lever somebody, and there's a trick to that. He did very well with that last night. The other thing is keeping his eyes downfield. The scramble drill that we had where he hits Pete for that long play on that backside drive, that's a huge play. We've worked scramble drill, and I know Coach Decker and Coach Hale will talk about this, how we need to flatten that out and get back towards the quarterback a little bit more, and we do. We got to get better at that, but we also have a quarterback that can get it there.
Yeah.
So if we have a guy that can put the ball deep in some of those spots, as long as everybody is connecting, they're on the same page, that's great. Like I said, though, with Lucas, just controlling everything and keeping everything calm. I mean, we lose 2 starters on our offensive line, and he keeps everybody in check, and everybody's still locked in. And those types of things are huge when you got a quarterback that can keep everybody calm and be a coach on the field a little bit. Because I'll be honest, we all get a little excited sometimes. And he doesn't. He's steady Eddie. Just give me the rock and let me do my job.
And as I said, I'm going to talk about just about every player with the rest of the coaches, but I have one position group I want you to talk about and then 2 more players. And we'll start with, let's go ahead with that Yankton offensive line last night. I know that 2 guys came out. Excuse me. I know 2 guys that came out, and that affected the second half, but that first half offensive line opened some gaps for another player I want you to talk about, Evan the Muscle Cirque. I will tell you. I was super impressed with Cirque all season. But when you said in our first interview of the year, and you can't blame me if part of me always thinks like some of this is coach speak, that. But when you said, well, he's just as powerful as Shaler, Platt and stuff. And I knew he was powerful from last year, but no, that kid can run someone over. And I think, is it possible he even wants to rather than try to get rid of him?
Yeah, he's that comes from confidence in what he's done in the weight room. He's a little muscle hamster.
The muscle.
He's done a great job in the weight room, making himself a better athlete, and he's committed to it. And you can see it. The other thing too is just the cuts he makes. Coach Savvy works a lot on reading the line. I think we've done a really good job with our running backs, helping them to understand where the exit ramps are in the blocking scheme. And so where's that cutback on there's a cutback on every play. It's how he coaches those guys to read that cut, which makes those things happen. They've done a really good job with that. And you can see Evan, especially the way he moves, he just drops his butt and he's gone. And, he's a good player. He showed up big for us last night. He had 20 touches in the first half. That's a lot. For some guys, that's an entire game. So going into this game where he's going to be the feature back, and we're not going to roll guys on and off as much because with Shaler out, so he had to carry the load, and he did a great job for us last night.
Yeah, 84 yards on the ground, and as most of those were just tough earned yards.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, also credit to the Yankton offensive line and your upbacks, Matthew Sheldon, creating some extra holes for him. as well. And then last player I want you to talk about is the kick return touchdown, Austin Goebel, but also in the defensive side and just the speed that he brings to this team just kind of opens up a whole new element for Yankton.
I know you can see it from the stands, but when you're close to it and you see how fast he's moving, real close, it's like his feet aren't even on the ground. He's
just floating.
Yeah, and the other thing too is he's not just a speed receiver. He's not just a guy that's going to line up and go run a 9 every time. Yep. Finding an open spot on that rollout play, the touchdown he caught, he's a possession receiver too, and so he's gotten very good at running routes. I'll tell you, he needs to get better, and he'll say that too. But he's not just a 9 guy. He can run routes and he can get open, and it's when he gets the ball in his hands where he's most dangerous. And I thought Coach Schubert did a really good job creatively trying to find ways to get guys touches. And he's one of those guys where we have to have, he needs to touch the ball this many times. We got to try to target him this many times, and everybody else is covering him, and sometimes he's double covered, etc. But when he gets his touches, he's pretty electric.
Homecoming week, this coming week, how does that affect every year? You mentioned it does change the mindset of the team a little bit. There's a lot of festivities going on.
There is, and that's a credit to our school. Our school system and the community as a whole does such a great job of especially during homecoming week, you can really see the pride in the community, and it is a lot. And our guys understand that while that's all fun and there's a lot of things going on, they also know they have a responsibility. The responsibility is to win the football game. That's kind of the crowning point of the whole week. And so we've got a job to do. They go into the week with that mindset, and all of a sudden those distractions aren't as distracting. And but they also need to enjoy it. They need to have fun. They're kids, and this is a game. So I'm really excited for the week. They're in a good spot going into homecoming week. They understand what's on the line. It's a conference matchup. Every game, to be honest with you, has playoff implications. They know what they got to do, mainly just because, not just the responsibility of doing their job on Friday night, but just the responsibility of holding up to the standard that they've set. They've done it for themselves. They've moved the bar. Now they got to keep those standards and keep achieving higher than those standards as we keep going forward.
Well, congratulations to both you coaches on a great victory last night at T. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Try to stay dry in this weather and get over to film and just enjoy it. Thank you both.
All right, thanks, Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966. And with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
With life insurance, Rhonda Westland with State Farm's got you and your future. You would do anything to protect your family and ensure that they have a bright future. But have you considered how your loved ones would continue on financially if you were no longer here? Life insurance is a simple and affordable way to answer that question. It allows you to say to your loved ones, "I've got you," and mean it. For more information, visit Rhonda Westland with State Farm at 1023 West 9th Street in Yankton.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Traveling to Yankton for business or pleasure? Then book your stay at Yankton's two best hotels, the Fairfield Inn and Suites and Holiday Inn Express. Both are conveniently located to everything in Yankton. Both offer complimentary hot breakfast and meeting rooms for business travelers. And if you want a great rate and still be able to change your reservation without a hassle, call either hotel direct. The Fairfield and Holiday Inn Express, 2 great hotel choices when visiting or arranging rooms for guests to Yankton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com. All right, so we are at week 5, and I have noticed, the football season, and I have noticed that this is the second time that I have worn a Lancer shirt during the Coach's Corner for Yankton. The reason that's significant is because today, I'm running camera for Mount Marty tonight, so there's a reason. But the reason why I'm bringing this up now is this is T Area Titan colors. I didn't mean to do that.
Gotta get you some gear.
Yeah. Well, I will take any free clothing. I was gonna say I have plenty, but I will take any free clothing.
There might be a shirt coming your way.
Yeah, free food and clothing is always welcome in my world. So, all right, being joined by Coach Terry Huber, Coach Brady Hale. Coaches, congratulations, big victory last night. Actually, just a huge victory because there's a big victory, and then there's that last night that just felt. I was talking to Muth and Olsen just now. A little extra special. It had a little more on it. You're snapping a big streak for T, and that's significant on the media side because it really does feel like, at least from my side of the table, that this is a rivalry that is building. It's new. It's only 3 years old, but every game that these two teams face off, it's been heartbreakers for Yankton, but last night a heartbreaker for T. And, it's a little trippy on the field, right? A lot of talking. The crowds really get into it, and it just seems like it's a rivalry brewing.
Yeah, I would say the last 2 years have been really disappointing for us. We've let them slip away, in our eyes at least. We should have taken care of business the last 2 years, but this has been a long time coming. Our kids were amped up, they were ready to go, and the stuff that they get to deal with, in the off season, the stuff that they're dealing with on the field, it has turned into something personal. It really has in this game, and those guys took it that way. And they showed that, we're going to take care of business, we're going to defend ourselves, and we're going to go out and attack. And that's what they did all night.
The 3 facets, or the 3 sides of the ball last night, all played an equal part. First one I thought about is defense, shutting down that rushing attack from T. That was a huge deal.
Absolutely.
But almost just as big of a deal, Coach Huber, was Yankton setting the tone early, getting a score early. That was something that's been, not struggle, but sputtering out early in the game. But last night that wasn't the case. Scored early, scored often in the first half, and I would say part of that is due to the offensive line. When you lose 2 guys in the offensive line going into the second half, that changes a little bit of the attack, right? But talk about especially that first half offensive line.
Yeah, we talk about this, and like you said, it is an emphasis of ours. First down, 5+ yards is if we don't get there, then we've lost. Like that to us, that's a loss. Even if you get 1 or 2, that's not good enough for us. And we have our standards set. Those kids went out there and they attacked it the whole time. And it was the line that was. They were moving phenomenally. They were working very well together, communicating. Coming off to the side, talking with me. They're coming in here. First play they sent 2 right up the middle, and immediately after that drive, they come in and they're talking to me. Hey, this is where they were at. This is where they're set up. Campshaw's coming off, says, I think this is here. It looks like they're dropping cover 3 rather than being cover 1 man. All of this communication is happening, and when I hear all that, I know they're confident. They came in very confident in their preparation last night, and you saw just a lot of guys out there being dudes, and it was so much fun to watch. Those guys just attack them, like you said, that entire first half. Second half came out, and we did what we needed to do. I tell them all the time, if you're a third-quarter team, you have a very good shot of making it deep into the playoffs, maybe to get into state. If you can come out and punch them in the mouth right away in that third quarter, and that's what we did. It was really fun to see. I was so confident going in there. I'm going to wear a lot of the offensive struggle in the second half because we just haven't worked on enough slowing down. I thought we did a decent job slowing down and taking off some clock, but we have to be able to kind of flip that mentality of we're slowed down, but once we get on the ball, we're back to our up-tempo offense, and we got to go. So I'm gonna we're gonna work on that a lot. I wear a lot of that because we just haven't done enough of that. I thought we did a decent job last night, but not a great job in that second half.
And we talk about this every week as well. I never know who to direct some of these questions to because quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and it's all these. But I'll ask Coach Hale this one about Cam Shaw, first of all. 15-25 last night, 181 yards through the air, a touchdown. And I was talking to Muth before, just seemed poised. He just really is just that calm presence on the field.
Yeah, he was in total control of that game, like you said. When Coach Huber mentions that Lucas is talking about what he sees out there, and that's a huge confidence boost because he's seeing the field well. And we didn't end up throwing the ball as much as we have in past games, and that's because we played so well early and were able to execute. And a lot of that is credit to Lucas, just getting guys in the right spot, keeping the guys focused. But he played a great game. I thought even just escaping the pocket and knowing when to tuck it and run. He had a couple third down conversions that come to mind where he scrambled and got 5-6 yards for a conversion or made it really 4th and short, which is a big play. So, hopefully his confidence continues to build and we can just continue to get better as an offense.
He's had some clean pockets this year, and I've noticed, and he does like to roll out a lot, and I know that's part of the offensive scheme anyway, but this is also part of when Rugby was having to do that the last couple of years. And credit to all Bucks past and present, but the line wasn't as, I guess, big, you could say, right? This is a bigger line this year for Yankton. They're able to give a little bit more time. Rugby had to do it almost to survive. But I just really feel like there is more of a calm presence in the pocket as well. I just seen that from my side.
Yeah, Lucas is just, that's kind of maybe just a difference between those two players, Rugby and Lucas. And Lucas maybe stands in there a little bit, more of a traditional quarterback and looks to throw the ball downfield, where Rugby was he was making crazy plays all the time, which is fun to watch, but
also making you pull your hair out, right?
But Lucas, he makes a lot of plays with his legs, and credit to those offensive linemen. Sometimes it might look like things are breaking down, but Coach Huber has those kids coached up well to where they're creating routes for Lucas to escape the pocket in a productive way where we can make plays and not having to go 30 yards backfield and then try to get back towards the line of scrimmage. He's able to step up in the pocket, get out to a side, and make a play. So.
Well, the way he's able to keep his eyes downfield is super impressive.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he was able to, last night, to toss it to 6 different receivers on the hit chart. Pretty well spread. Tucker Gilmore got the bulk of the receptions, 4 for 73. Evan Sirk, 3 for 28. Peyton Pearson, 2 for 42. You guys know I had to go down these now. Carson Ness, 2 for 25. Matthew Sheldon, 2 for 15. Austin Goebel caught 1. Did go behind the line, but that is pretty well spread on the hit chart.
Yeah, we feel like we have 6 or 7 guys that we could trot out there and be comfortable with them running routes in the varsity football game, which is really awesome because, we do have guys going both ways, so it's good to get people breaks. But yeah, like you said, when guys make plays and you can spread the ball around, it makes it tough on a defense to have to try to cover, 3, 4, 5 different guys that you got to worry about coming in a football game and covering them.
All right, Coach Huber, I've been struggling with this Evan Sirk nickname thing for a while. You can't give Shaler Platt Big Diesel and then not give the the other one. So it's been multiples, but I found it last night.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. Evan the Muscle Sirk.
The muscle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so Evan the Muscle. And I'm bringing him up especially because just wow. All right, so Platt is in street clothes, right?
Yep.
He's on the sideline, so there's your Thunder out of the game, right? So now you're just depending on the Lightning, right? And the Muscle goes out there, and I was talking again to Moose just now about, I thought in the preseason talk, it was a little bit of coach speak from Moose. He said, well, he can hit just as hard as Shaler. He's just as powerful, and I guess I saw that last year a little bit, but I've always, human error, just look at him as just a speed back, because of his frame. That guy can lay a hammer.
Absolutely.
I think, 84 yards on the ground, just multiple carries. He was the workhorse.
Yeah, I think if there's one guy who is loved and cherished by this team, Evan Sirk is that kid. He came out, and it's fun to see for me because not everybody gets to see those player-coach communications. And when he comes up to me after the Pier game and says, "Coach, I wasn't good enough. I will be better next week." And then unfortunately we didn't have Shaler, but fortunate enough, Evan was then able to come in and do all the workload. Jace did get in a few reps, but 31 touches for a back is that's unreal. To be getting in, especially when we have 20 in the first half with him.
Yeah.
I think he had 20 touches in the first half. That's phenomenal, and he was, just killing it out there. You watch him, and he, like you said, he's laying the smack on guys when he's running through. He is that speed back, but that speed leads to power whenever he's flying through there, and those legs just go and go and go. He's finding cuts, making great reads. He has grown so much as a running back that I'd feel comfortable with him doing anything and everything in our offense out there.
Yeah, I think that's the most touches for a running back in a game, I think, and I don't have the numbers for him, since at least Cade Koletsky maybe, because he used to get it a lot too. But even the rushing was spread out. You said Slotchek got in there for a couple camshaft tucks and runs. Matthew Sheldon got a carry, but Matthew Sheldon is just as involved with the run game, just being in that up back. He's laying the hammer as well. He's opening up an extra lane. The offensive line does their job, and then watch out for Shelley coming through the line.
Yeah, when he's coming through, whether he's leading up on a backer, whether he's loading out a defensive end, that's the thing with him. You don't have a whole lot of people in the state that can run the routes that he does, that can run the football like he does with speed and power, but who can also then sit there and block out a defensive end. We have him load blocking D ends all the time, and he's one of the five. He's the sixth man, and it's really fun to see that he is so versatile, so athletic. I thought, last night, complete, whether offense, defense, or any time he was on the field, he had a phenomenal game last night. But having a guy like that you can trust to do anything, I can call. He could, he's actually. I was like, if we need a running back, we put Donald Rounds in at H-back, and we put Shelley in at running back if we need one. He's a guy who, maybe not quarterback. I haven't seen him slinging around yet, but we'll put him wherever we need to, because he'll be that guy. And I wouldn't feel right, because I hope he's listening. But if we need him at offensive guard, he might be going there. So,
and he's our backup punter.
Yeah.
So
right. So
he can do it all.
He is. He's a jack of all trades, and
he drove the bus.
I think that saying is, the jack of all trades is a master of none. But he's become a master of all these trades, and that's just a special human being right there.
Yeah, he's just very impressive and very fun to see. Special teams, Coach Hale. So another one. Actually, one last one.
Yep.
How many gray hairs did you get, Coach Huber, when I think it was like first and goal on like the 1-inch line, right? A couple attempts, and then Easton Nelson came in. Did Camshaft's helmet
the helmet came off? Yep.
Okay, so Easton Nelson came in, handoff, still didn't get it.
Yep.
When it was fourth and goal on like the inch line, how many gray hairs did you develop?
Well, I tell you what, I am getting a few gray hairs. I've noticed them in the mirror. That's one thing where it was a look. All it takes is a look, and about are you going to do it or not to these guys up front, and they did it, right? Like they came down. Obviously, the quarter ran out, so we flipped fields, and it was very apparent that they were not okay with not getting it in the first time, or the second, or the third, and they knew, hey, it's now or never. This is how we win the football game. It's these short plays. It's a game, like people always say, the old adage, it's a game of inches. It literally is there. They need to take that, so we have momentum continuing in our favor, and they got the job done. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, Coach Hale, Trujillo last night, and the special teams coverage unit, another one down at the 1 yard line. I think it's like the third of the season at least. But it's up there. And under pressure, still getting off, just line drive punts. He's airing them when he needs to. I'm just super impressed. Yes, his kicking, we'll get to that in a second, but just his punting really has. I mean, you have Trevor Paulson last couple of years, just Mr. Automatic, but then you automatically would assume, again, this is just human error on my side of the table. They're going to take a step back because Paulson just is that guy, right? Yep. But Trujillo's just stepped in and has made it his own, and he's just in such an excellent job this year.
Yeah, those two work together. I mean, Trevor and Josue for years, and Josue, and he understands the tradition that Yankton has with special teams play, and he wants to continue that, and he's holding himself to that standard. And last night was really no different. I mean, we had a couple punts in situations where we need to operate and get the ball off quicker, and that's tough as a punter because you don't have as much time to focus on what you need to do. Your body kind of takes over. And like you said, he got the ball off well. We were able to execute. I think I saw on the sheet he averaged 36 yards a punt, which is, we'll take that in a windy night. So credit to him and his work ethic and just the willingness to learn and continue to get better as the season goes on.
We're setting up equipment for every game. We see you out there walking on the fields and kind of playing hacky sack with the football. How many consecutive ones can you get?
I don't know, Bryce. I think last night I got like 5 or 6 with the football, but
he's always out there. Just like,
I bet he can get up to 10. I watching that guy. It's so
without
impressive.
injuring myself, probably 5 or
well,
6.
now you know when you're out there doing that. I just want to let you know
All
that
eyes are on him.
we actually are up in the booth doing this. I'm not even joking. We're going like 1, 2, 3. Oh no, he didn't get it that time. 1, 2.
Yeah.
So it's always entertaining. But another field goal for Trujillo last night.
Big points. That's a big point play right there.
Yeah, set up. I think that was the one. Was that the Kamshoff to Peyton Peterson that set up that field goal eventually?
I believe so.
So yeah, we had like a minute 30 something, or minute 40 coming in there. Defense got a good stop there for us, and we knew we needed points. And that's, I love Coach Hale because he's always on the headset and we're communicating back and forth, and it's really nice. Where do we need to be? At bare minimum, getting a field goal, because if we can steal this possession, end with points, and then start the second half of the football and go get points again, that's huge. So in our head, obviously, yeah, we're driving for a touchdown, but we also know we got to get to this spot so that we can kick a field goal and get those 3 points. And it's really fun to see. He's got those guys ready, no matter what, whether we got 4 seconds on the clock or 15. Those guys they're ready for kicking anything that we need, and it helps as the offense coordinator having that backup, knowing that we can still get points out of this even if we don't punch it into the end zone, which is a win for us.
Were you guys wondering if that's just water in that water bottle?
Yeah. No.
The snap hold kick operation has been going pretty well.
Yeah.
There's been some low snaps, and that's not insult to anyone. So give credit to Easton Nelson for getting that ball up.
Absolutely.
Give credit to the snapper. Remind me again.
Carson Conway.
Thank you. Carson Conway has done a nice job snapping for Yankton this year, and obviously Trujillo under the pressure. Just the operation is going smooth.
Yeah. Just another shout out to Carson Conway. He struggled early in the season.
And I knew that. I just wanted the name stuff sometimes.
And I mean, that's not easy to do when you struggle early on. It's kind of like I like to think about my golf game. When I shank a couple early, it's hard to come back. But I mean, he is really dialed in and focused and completely changed his practice habits, and he's out there early getting reps, and he's eliminated those bad snaps. And I'd say the last 2 or 3 weeks he's had 100% success snapping, and that's a huge factor in our operation, not just field goal but punt. I mean, that's a huge play in the football game that maybe people don't realize, but Carson is doing a great job, and it's a huge advantage for us to have a kid who we can trust to just, when we need to punt the football or kick a field goal, that we're like, okay, this is going to happen, and he's going to execute the way we need to. So just a credit to those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Carson, I want to let you know the reason that happened in my head just now is because I was looking at my notes. Because my last question for Coach Huber is Austin Conway came in. So that's why I get all this. Austin Conway came into the line last night as Wavernick went out at left tackle, and then Derek Beal flipped sides from defensive line to offensive line as well, going both ways. He came in for Austin Cottle. Mark.
Yep, that's okay,
folks.
We'll get this.
There's an Austin Cottle that works here too.
Oh, okay.
The name thing is messing me up because there's too many similarities, and now you guys really are thinking, is there just water?
I yelled for Austin Conway yesterday, but him and Carson were standing by each other, and Carson starts walking up. He's like, "No, other Conway."
Yeah, and then my friend Austin Cottle, I was like, "Okay, someone came in from Mark." No, but they did a nice job stepping in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The next man up thing, Coach Muth is very good at making sure our guys understand that. And Austin came in, or Derek Beal came in earlier, and I love that kid because he's willing to do anything and everything. This week he's got cards for guard, cards for tackle. He's out there working reps so that he's prepared for a situation like this. And I think if we don't have a guy like him, yesterday could have went a different way because he stepped up big early on, and then to have a freshman, Austin Conway, stepping up and coming in. I know he got a few reps in last week, but now it's a vital game, and he is in there. Number 2 versus number 3, starting at left tackle. That's a big deal when he's coming out on those drives. And it's an adage like we talked about last week. If you're not being noticed, that means you're doing the right stuff, and that was how it was last night. I wasn't concerned at all because we talk, and he is locked in, eyes on. And he's focused, and he wants to be a very good football player, and that's what he's turning into. It's been a great thing to see him develop and to just be mature enough to handle this level of football.
We are so over our time right now. This is becoming its own podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll get you coaches out of here. I had to get some more coaches in here. No, I appreciate you both joining me this morning. Congratulations on the big victory. Enjoy your weekend. Try to stay dry out there, okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Bryce. Have a good one.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for it all. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great, and we're here for it. See you at the game. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
The start of a new school year is a good time to evaluate your children's healthcare needs, whether it is a doctor's checkup, replacing EpiPens for serious allergies, or renewing prescriptions for inhalers to treat activity-induced breathing problems. Hi, this is Michael from Yankton Rexall, and we pride ourselves in providing accurate prescriptions and appropriate medical information for your child's health. Good health contributes to good students. Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
All right, welcome back to hour 3 of the Coach's Corner. I'm joking, but it does feel like we've been here for a long time. No, and that's a good thing. I'm just enjoying talking to the coaches this morning. You guys are just going to miss film at this point. So I apologize to Coach Booth for that. I'm just holding all the coaches hostage here. But no, I think we're also enjoying having a good time talking. That's a big victory last night, and everyone wants to enjoy it, myself included. And you always want to talk to the coaches after a victory like that. So it's always special. Be joined by Coach Matt Decker, Coach Dan Schwach. Coaches, first of all, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bryce.
Congratulations on the victory last night. We are going to run right into this varsity, and then we'll talk JV. Coach Schwach, defensive line last night. I wish we did have more time to emphasize this week on the defensive line performance. It was excellent.
Yeah, guys played well. We had a few injuries on the offensive front, so just was willing to adapt. Frankie Envelope came in and did a great job on that
Frankie the
edge.
Monster.
Frankie the Monster. Oh, boy.
He was.
Does he know that yet?
No, it's already been stamped. So.
That's already been stamped. All right. So came in off the edge and just held that down all night. So then Peyton Eustace could move inside, and Raker Frang and Derek Beal just kind of did their thing. And Edley Amaro sealed the edge on the other side. So all in all, a good team effort. I mean, especially in the first half. Take out that one drive that they started with in the second half, and I think it's a very solid game.
And Coach Decker, the receiving core last night, we'll run down really quickly again. Tucker Gilmore, 73 yards. Evan Sirk, 28. Peyton Peterson, 42. Carson Esch, 25. Matthew Sheldon, 15. Austin Goebel had a reception. 15 total receptions downfield. But the thing I noticed the most last night, aside from that Peyton Peterson grab, which was really impressive. Great throw by Cam Schaff, but a really great grab by Peyton Peterson downfield to set up for the field goal eventually, was the blocking downfield from the wide receivers. They were a huge part of that run game last night.
Yeah, I think we're getting smarter and smarter every week, depending on whether plays go to our side or whether they don't, knowing when to downfield block and knowing when they're manned up on us. Like Carson Ness did a great job last night. There's a play going to his side, and he just ran it off because they were just looking at his eyes, those defensive backs were. And so we're getting smarter and smarter every week. And this week, the wideouts did a great job adjusting to Lucas, too. That's something we've been working on in practice and with Coach Hale as well and the quarterbacks. And I thought last night Peyton Peterson did a great job coming back to the ball, and he made a great catch to set up for the field goal. And Tucker Gilmore is that guy. He is a great leader for our team, and he had some great catches. And Carson's doing a great job. And Austin had a weird stat line last night with 2 touchdowns and 1 reception for I think -2 yards, and then all 79 all-purpose yards. He had a great game, and Connor Slava and Cohen Zarbach are rotating in with guys too, and our wide receiving core is pretty deep right now, and I just think it's kind of like a little family that we got. Everybody's supporting each other, and it's just a positive attitude. So they had a great night last night.
Yeah, as I was going through, I should have mentioned that Austin Goebel had the lone touchdown reception on the night as well. And so you see the -2 in net yards, and you're just kind of going through it. It's just really weird. But he had the touchdown, and then obviously that kick return touchdown as well, which I already talked to Hale about. Let's talk JV football for the Bucks coaches. The winning continues. Yankton 34, Dakota Valley at 12, and Coach Schwach. I have some offensive highlights I'll talk to Decker about, but kind of give me the rundown of the defense. Another great performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's an omen or irony that those 12 points, one of them was a kick return for a touchdown. So
how weird was it last night? The first time bringing it up, I should have mentioned it earlier, to have back-to-back kick return touchdowns.
It was weird. It was really weird.
And I just had a feeling once Austin caught that it was housed. I mean, I'm just like, that's going.
Yeah, there's a way to answer a kick return touchdown, and that might just be with a kick return touchdown of your own. But okay, continue.
Huge.
Defense.
Yeah. So yeah, gave up 6 points there, and then a pass. I think with maybe 3-4 minutes left. So all in all, I mean, 12 points isn't many, but thought it could have been a few less. But Thomas Reardon, Chase Platt, the linebackers just played solid. I think Reardon had 9 tackles. I mean, I think when I added up the stats, there were 77 tackles. So I don't know if the managers were kind of like Oprah giving out houses. They're like, you get a tackle, you get a tackle. But I think the tackles were so high because they had so many guys flying to the ball. So there were group tackles, and just it's fun to watch them. Chase Platt had a nice interception return for a touchdown, so keep getting some points on defense. I will give a shout out this week to our managers. We've had them now for a couple years. Christian Weir, Ethan Marsh, and Evan Olson not only do a great job setting us up and keeping our life in order, getting the guys water, but they keep the stats, and we are spoiled because they do a great job.
Yeah, and Coach Decker, I will kind of go through I'll help you out and kind of go through some of these offensive highlights, and then you just talk whoever you want to. But 5 different Bucks scored the touchdowns. Abel Bryan, 80-yard touchdown catch. Easton Feeser, 6 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. Tate Bestie do a nice job, quarterback position, 190 yards in the air for those 2 scores. And Jolton Remnitz Hahn, 51-yard rushing touchdown. And then, of course, Jason Lachek, who got in last night again. That was really nice, but he had a touchdown as well. Sorry for taking all your points there, but whoever you want to talk about.
You hit everybody. No, I think those guys are starting to kind of group together, and they're developing in the right way, right? All those guys that you named are getting to get together, and Tate's really leading them. Some of the guys that are continuing to develop that sometimes don't show up on that stat sheet too are like at running back, Jolton Remnitz Hahn scored with 1:27 left, just on a pitch for a touchdown. And Jolton's doing a great job. Kylan O'Connor is rotating into as well. And, I think a lot of those guys, our offensive line has some injuries, but, guys are filling in, doing their best. And, Jake Bivens is doing a great job. He's going to have a big game versus Brookings on Monday. And but guys are developing in the right positive way that we need to see. And this game was good there's a lot of lessons out of this game for our character, and in developing our character as Yankton Buck football players. And, we left this game knowing who we were. And I thought it was a great game, and just a good game to teach some of those young kids some lessons too. So
absolutely. Brookings on Monday. Where is that played at? SDSU Stadium, or where is that played at?
The high school.
Okay,
so it's our last away game for JV. So
good luck to the Yankton Bucks. It's gonna be exciting. I can't believe this last road game. That's just, how fast is it?
It's going. It's going.
You check the calendar, you're like, oh, okay.
Right? I know.
No, but congratulations on that victory and the victory last night for the varsity squad coaches. And sorry for the little kind of the quick in and out here today, but as I mentioned before, for some reason I talked to Coach Huber and Coach Hale for like an hour. So.
Well, that's okay. They've got good faces for radio, so that's good.
There you go. Well, I'm going to act like I'm trying to get you out of here for film.
There you go.
So, appreciate it, guys. Have a good weekend. Stay dry, okay?
Thanks, Bryce.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back here on the Coach's Corner.
Yankton Medical Clinic is pleased to announce the addition of geriatric specialist Dr. Jennifer Philhouse to their team. Dr. Philhouse will help patients as they age and need an expert who understands the aging process. She uses the John A. Hartford Foundation 4M's framework in her practice. What matters? Medication, mentation, and mobility. If you or a loved one have reached the age where you need expert care, schedule your appointment with her today. Dr. Jennifer Philhouse. Just one more way Yankton Medical Clinic provides so much care, so close to home.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here in the studio, and we're already in the 10 o'clock hour, and we're just on our last football segment, so we are talking a lot of football for good reason. A huge victory last night for the Yankton Bucks, and being joined by the Coach Savvies, as they've become known, Jason Blake. Coaches, good morning.
Morning.
All right, so I'm going to ask you each a varsity question from last night. We'll start with Coach Blake Savvy in that secondary. Great job by Yankton's defense as a whole. A lot of the talk this morning has been about the linebackers, but the secondary thing about them also is they had to get into the box a lot, right? And they're a huge part of stopping that run and really asking guys to step up into the field and make tackles, and they did just that.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing that we talked about this week and kind of a focus of some of our drills, getting downhill, making plays in space, and again, understanding that a lot of times in a team that runs, especially an option team like that can get outside, our unit ends up being the difference sometimes in, stopping something for 8 yards or less or letting it break to a really big play. I thought that they played up very well and aggressively, and then did a nice job, too, of staying true and alert to when they did do some play action, making sure that we were in our responsibilities and zones and playing out of things well. I think we did a nice job following the game plan.
Yeah, I've just been really impressed this season with everyone, but obviously Austin Goebel, he's had some big plays this year on the defensive side of the ball and offensive side. And then, Carson Ness, surefire hands at Carson Ness. He's also, though, not just that finesse skill player. He's also willing to lay the hammer down if he needs to.
Yeah, he is a guy that just plays fast, reads the field, and doesn't think too much. He just reacts and goes. And you need that at some spot, and he usually plays free safety for us. He's been playing some corner with Bodie being out this game. But he's great to have in that safety spot to just let him see the field, react, and then go make the play. And he does a really good job of that.
All right, and Coach Jason Savvy, there's only one person we're going to talk about on the varsity side for you, and that is Evan the Muscle Cirque. Last night, 84 yards on the ground, a couple scores. He he just impressed not just the KYNT broadcast people, but everyone with the fact that, Shaler Platt's out, right? So he's getting the bulk of the carries, almost the entire workload. Jason Lachek went in there a little bit. Cam Schaff tucked and run. Yeah, Sheldon got a carry. But it was the Jason Lachek show in the rushing attack. And this is the third time I mentioned it on the show, so I apologize for everyone that's stuck around this long. But I will say, or for all the segments, is that during the preseason, Coach Muth talks about how Evan Sirk has the same power Shaler Platt does, and things he can hit too, right, on the running back position. From my side of the table, you always kind of think maybe that's a little coach speak. You're just kind of giving that credit. No, he really can. I've always just looked at him, human error, as just the quick back. He's super fast, cuts and everything, but he will lower his shoulder pads and run over a guy almost twice his size. He is a tough muscle.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking in there that they were joking around that, Sirk is human, because somebody said he had a little scratch on his neck, and somebody questioned, was it red? Was it red blood? Was it like he's not a robot then?
Yeah,
because he does seem like it, and he's just a little machine. He will do whatever. I mean, every time you ask him, it's like, hey, you good? You ready to go? He's like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm good. I'm fine. I mean, he's always just 100% in. And last night was a huge night for him. I mean, it was 31 carries, I believe, he took. Which is crazy.
Is that like the most top of your head? Because I don't have the numbers since like at least Cade Koletsky, right?
I said that, yeah. I said that's got to be the most in a while, if not tops. I mean, but so for him to be able to carry that workload and do what he did, and you're right, his low center of gravity is an advantage for him. He can hide behind that line a little bit sometimes, and when he is getting tackled, if guys aren't getting low enough, which is hard to do on Evan, he's got that low center of gravity, and he keeps his feet churning, and he'll get a few extra yards after contact.
Yeah. He'll either go through you, or he has that quick cut.
Right. And we talked about that, even going back to last Pier, how we got to hit those holes a little faster because they'll close up pretty quick. Pier and T are both pretty good up front with that. So he was hitting those holes, quick, and then getting what he could after, and did a pretty good job of seeing the openings and breaking them for nice gains. So it was fun to watch him.
Well, let's start talking ninth grade football coaches. The winning continues for the Yankton Bucks. Yankton 33, West Central 21 at West Central. And a good start for the Yankton offense. They got off to a hot start, 13 points in the first quarter, then added a touchdown. Was the 6 points in the second quarter a touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
So then a touchdown for every other quarter. And Yankton's defense just got off to a solid footing to begin with, Coach Savvy.
Yeah, we were playing good football to start, filling gaps and making some plays. Had a couple interceptions with Miles Drotzman at the end of the half, took one back for a pick six, and then Tucker Rankin with a pick as well. And then again, another solid spread of tackling. One thing you'll notice there is that one of our corners is our leading tackle. They were getting outside quite a bit, and he did a nice job getting off blocks and making the play out there, just like we talked about in the varsity game. So it's nice to see that transition down to the freshman level as well.
Yeah, it just seems, we talked about this last week, actually every week, but I mean, it's becoming more obvious to me last couple of weeks, Coach Blake Savvy, is that, we talk about the wide receiver hit chart, but then you also look at the tackles and just how many different players are getting multiple tackles. It just seems like everyone is just stepping up into their positions.
Yeah, and we talk about that each week with that team, and I even kind of sometimes bring up the radio show, and I'm like, hey, I go brag. Like, this is what we do, so let's make sure that that's what we do. And they do a great job responding, and, I think we have moments in the second half there. We started to get downfield a little bit too much, or in the backfield a little too much, and let them run under us. But they're really good about that's really all it takes. It's like, hey, play your gap. Let it come to you, make the play. And then they rein it back in really well. And we've just done that all year. So it's been great to see that consistency from them.
Well, I want to drop some names, so let's go with the top five tacklers. Tegan LaCroix, Madden McQuaid with 7, LaCroix at 8, Carson Krall at 5, Miles Drotzman at 4, and Isaac Olness with 4 as well. And still, Madden McQuaid is still the best football name I've ever heard in my life. So
yeah. And
so.
I'll also add on to that really quick. Yeah. Isaac Olness is a guy that I think in the last 2-3 weeks has really started to rise, especially on the defensive side for me. He's been going in at safety and plays the ball well, and has kind of shown, like you see here, that he can step up and go in and make some plays with tackling as well. So I've been very impressed with kind of his rise in the last couple of weeks.
Coach Jason Savvy, offensive side of the ball, the scoring pretty spread out as well. Tegan LaCroix, 2 touchdowns, Miles Drossman with 2 with that. And then Tucker Rankin with a score as well. Let you talk a little bit about the offensive side.
Yeah, we did a pretty good job of spreading things around. We didn't pass probably as much as I would have liked to, but again, we were able to get the run game going. We had 221 yards on the ground, 11-yard average again. So when you're moving the ball like that, I mean, you stick with it. You're going to take what they give you. So we were doing a good job moving the ball for the most part, and then hit a few nice passes when we needed to. The one to Rankin, a 30-yard one, that was a nice one to get because West Central had just scored and kind of closed the gap on us a little bit. So that was one that kind of put us ahead for good. So that was a great little route. He did a great job of shedding the defender. They were up trying to really jam the receivers, and Rankin did a good job of shedding him and getting wide open on a little crossing. So that was nice to see, and to see those guys, just the little fundamental things like that, that obviously make a big difference. So that was really good. And then everything too, just special teams wise, we were pretty solid. We did give up our first kick return, led them for a touchdown. That was one of their touchdowns. But after that, our guys, again, it's a learning experience. So they learned from that, and we did well from there. So it was a good game all around. We obviously we're still working on continuing to get better execution wise with little things. We had some mix-ups on some of the plays. So we just got to get that taken care of. Some of it's just communication. So those are things to work on, and obviously leading into this week.
Are the guys having fun? I mean, it's an important question. This the Yankton Bucks tradition, the football tradition. I mean, are they having fun at that level?
Yeah, I think, that's kind of one thing. The 3 weeks on the road, I think, has really shown me is you are on the bus with those guys for those road trips, and they're having a blast just hanging out with each other.
That's awesome.
Talking, chatting, joking, and it's been really fun to watch them experience that and have fun as a team.
Well, they will have one of their biggest challenges of the year, T area, coming to town. That is on Thursday at Crane. Coaches, I will give you a spoiler. I think T's probably going to run the wing tee.
Yeah.
I think so.
We're glad we got a home game coming into homecoming, though. That's always nice, not having to be on the road. So it'll be exciting to be able to kind of kick off the football, I guess, with a home game Thursday for freshmen and carrying that over into Friday.
Especially the opponent being T. It's just kind of neat, right? After what just happened. So that's that's a game to keep an eye on for sure. Coaches, congratulations on the 9th grade victory. Congratulations on the varsity victory. Enjoy your weekend. Try to stay dry.
Yeah.
All right. And just enjoy this victory, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. That was the Coach Savvies. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Everyone loves something different about our buffet, which is good because buffet has something for everyone. This is Annie from Yankton Pizza Ranch. Come in and fill your plate with good food that makes you feel good inside. Don't see your favorite pizza on the buffet? Request it using Buffet Your Way. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the very first slice. Grab the country's best chicken paired with tasty sides and finish off with sweet cactus bread at Yankton Pizza Ranch.
Do you really think it's a good idea to buy insurance off the internet? After all, it is insurance. It's not a commodity like a toaster. It's a contract to protect what you value most: your home, your car, your business, your health, and even your life. You need a professional, in-person agent to make sure you have the right coverage to fit your family's needs. Schedule an appointment with us today. Missouri River Associates, 665-6885.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
All right, let's start talking Yankton Bucks golf here on the Coach's Corner, joined by Coach Brett Syme. Coach, good morning.
Morning.
Do you want to talk football? That's what we've been doing for over an hour and 16 minutes. So thank you for waiting there. But enjoying some Pizza Ranch pizza, I hope?
Yeah, I had a couple pieces. I always thank Pizza Ranch for doing that. It's kind of nice to have that in the morning.
All right, let's jump right into Bucks golf. Bucks finished 6 out of 13 teams. That was at the Watertown Invite on Tuesday. That was at Cattail Crossing Golf Course, a 323 overall score. Watertown won the event, on their home event. And most importantly, Coach, that was the regular season finale. So I'll let you talk on that and then get into, obviously, your individual results.
Well, yeah, we were going up to Watertown, hoping to have a good competition before our postseason. I think we did okay. We ended up shooting close to the average that we shot all year long. So we're kind of figuring out, really who the team is that we are. And we were a little bit over it, but we had a bunch of kids that I think 3 out of the 6 maybe that hadn't played that golf course. We tried to talk a little strategy, gave them a little sheet with tips and tips on all the holes.
And you said about half of it had changed since you last golfed there, right? That's what you said?
Well, I've been there since the changes, but when I played there in high school, it was only an 18-hole course. They have 27 holes there now. They just had some extra land actually to the east of the old course that they made into another 9 holes. And so 9 of the holes was actually probably 11 of the holes are the old course, and then 7 of them are out east of where the old course used to be, and those are kind of newer. But I've been to that course plenty of times coaching and actually played in some practice rounds with the kids while we've gone to some of the tournaments that we play a practice round in. So got to know the course pretty well. But, it's always a little bit tougher to go play a course for the first time because it's the first time you've seen it. You don't necessarily know where some of the trouble is or some of the things to stay away from. But our kids went out and they performed pretty well. It's the first time in a while that we've had 3 golfers at 80 or better. We were led by Kai Cody, shot 79. It was good to see him get back under 80. He'd had a couple of higher tournaments here these last couple, but he ended up being in a playoff for a spot, and he earned the spot to go, and then he went and performed really well. So hopefully maybe that made him focus a little harder and went out and played really well. One of our only golfers out there that didn't have a double bogey or worse, and that's kind of what I talked about last time we were in here, is that's what we got to cut down on. When we get the double bogeys, triple bogeys, or even worse sometimes, that's when our score really starts going up. And if we can stay away from those, then we can be competitive against some of those teams that have been beating us, but that we're kind of close to, like a Mitchell or a Brandon Valley. Those top 3 teams, they're tough. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Watertown and Pierre played really well. Harrisburg actually kind of had a tough day that day. It was kind of unlike them to be 18 over par. They're a good quality team. But, to finish where we did, we beat all the teams that we've usually been beating, and the teams that have usually been beating us beat us. And that's what I'm saying. We're kind of finding out the team that we are. We're just hoping here in the next, week, because that's all we got left, basically, to practice, that we can, try and cut down on a few of those bigger numbers that we've been taking. And if we do, then we can be a little bit more competitive and try and compete with those teams that have been beating us. But those top teams in the state, it's going to be tough to get to that level here before the state tournament. But we're going to go out and we're going to work hard this next week and really do our best. But like I said, Kai Cody led us with 79. Easton Velick and Parker Riley shot 80. Miles Kraske shot 84. Those were our counters for us. And then Riker Larson shot 87 and Henry Homestead 95 to round out the team. So, we're really excited. We get to host ESD on Monday. Again, that's going to be a tough ask. You got those 3 teams at the top that are going to be at the ESD also, Watertown, Pierre, and Harrisburg. So it'll be tough to jump up into the top 3. But, I really think if our guys go out and play well at home, I know we didn't at the Yankton Invitational. We didn't maybe play as well as we would have liked to. Maybe they put a little too much pressure on themselves playing at home. I'm hoping they don't do that this time. We got one chance to play at home in a big tournament. We got another one on Monday, so I hope we come back, play a little better. And if we play up to our potential, I think we can play with Brandon Valley and Mitchell on our home course and hopefully maybe try to, maybe get that 4th spot at the conference. But right now we're seeded 6th going in, behind those top 3 that we always talk about, and Brandon, then Mitchell. We're a little ways ahead of Brookings and Aberdeen, and then Huron kind of rounds out the conference. But we'll be out at Fox Run on Monday, 10 a.m. It's a smaller field than we're used to. There's only 9 teams in the conference, so there's only going to be 54 golfers out there, but it's going to be a good quality field. So if anybody is interested in coming out, watching some good golf, come out to Fox Run, shotgun start at 10 a.m. We're going to be starting on 9 holes. We're not going to there's 18 groups. We're not going to put 1 on every hole. It just makes it harder for coaches to verify scores at the end. So we're going to double up on 9 of the holes, and it'll just make it easier because a coach can just sit on that hole and verify scores at the end. But yeah, it's going to be a good quality tournament, a lot of good golf in AA this year. And we're just, like I said, we're hoping to go out and have a good tournament on our home course this time. But I think it will play a little bit different than it did at the Yankton Invite. It was dry at the Yankton Invite. Course was playing, I don't want to say easy, it was just the conditions were pretty easy. There was hardly any wind, and that doesn't happen very often at Fox Run. But I think on Monday it will play a little bit different with the rain we're getting today and the rain we're supposed to get this weekend. I think the course might play a little softer, which means ball won't roll out as much. It'll play a little bit longer, but the ball might stop a little bit quicker on the greens when they hit the greens. So it'll be interesting to see how the teams are able to do. And with the greens are softer, it actually makes it a little bit easier because you can kind of throw it at the flag and it'll just stop if you're hitting your good iron shots. So really excited to be hosting the ESD meet. Looking forward to it, and hopefully we can have a good finish and maybe propel us as we go forward into the state meet.
How extra nice is it to be hosting during homecoming week?
That is kind of nice. Most years we actually don't get to experience the homecoming day because ESD is usually homecoming week right at the end. We usually play ESD on a Saturday. Thank goodness we're not today because we wouldn't be having much fun out there in the rain. Probably be delayed because of lightning and all that kind of stuff. But we usually go up for a practice round on the Friday, which is usually homecoming day, so we miss all those homecoming festivities. And it is nice to be able to be at home because the kids can experience some of that. And I know it'll just be the beginning of homecoming week, but we'll still be around for most of the week. And then trying to get ready for the state tournament, it'll be nice to be at home getting prepared for that. So.
No, absolutely, and looking forward to seeing the results. I love when Yankton's hosting conference things and meets of that nature, and to seeing the support that the community shows. Coach, as always, thank you for joining us here this morning. And did you get your Pizza Ranch pizza? You said, right?
Could I put one more plug in for some of the kids? We had a middle school ESD meet last Monday. Sure. And the Yankton middle school team actually performed really well, ended up 3rd out of the 9 teams. And we actually had an individual golfer, 7th grader Braden Birkland, that won the ESD conference meet, shot 73, won over par.
What was the last
from
name
the tees
again?
They were playing. Birkland.
Oh, okay.
Braden Birkland. So I just want to give a plug out. He works really hard, played a lot of golf this summer, shot a 73, a great score. So, we're looking for great things in Bucks golf in the future with a 3rd place finish in their ESD championship and with a golfer shooting as well as he does. So looking for great things in the Bucks in the future too.
Well, congratulations, Bucks, top down. This is a great success there. And thank you for plugging that, Coach. I do appreciate it. And again, thank you for coming into the studios this morning.
All right, thanks a lot, Bryce.
This is Coach Brett Syme, Yankton Bucks Golf. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com. Member FDIC.
Hello, Here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
All right, welcome back to the Coaches Corner, and we have a lot of pre-recorded interviews from the coaches to play for you here this morning. I caught up with the bulk of them later in the week, and we'll go ahead and just get started right now. Yankton Gazelles volleyball, they fell at Sioux Falls Lincoln in 3 sets on Tuesday night, and they swept Vermilion at home on Thursday night. So congratulations to the Yankton Gazelles. And I do have an interview with Coach Taylor Stacy that I'll play for you right now. I recorded this yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. I'll play that for you right now. All right, let's start talking Yankton Gazelles volleyball. Bryce Ladwig here, being joined by Coach Taylor Stacy. Coach, first of all, thank you for taking the time this week to record, as you will be busy as this is playing during the Coach's Corner with another competition. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
Let's just go into the last 2 matchups your team had. The Gazelles fell on the road Tuesday night in a 3-set match to Sioux Falls Lincoln. Those Sioux Falls schools just year after year proving to be very, very tough, Marit.
Yes, they always come with a lot of skill and a lot of teamwork, it seems.
But then Thursday night, Gazelles used 11 service aces. They got 25-21, 25-17, 25-13 sweep over the Vermilion Tanagers. And, Coach, not just a victory, but how much better does it feel as a team to have that decisive of a victory where there's no doubt?
Yeah, that is the biggest thing, is we wanted to get the game done in 3, give us a little more confidence going into Aberdeen on Saturday, and just knowing that we can work together and finish a game in 3. And the girls did awesome. They came out with lots of energy. They talked more, had more communication, and that's ultimately what showed the larger score difference in the second and third sets.
I want you to talk a little bit about each of your team leaders in that matchup. Macy Drotzman, 14 kills, 7 digs, 3 aces. She had a heck of a night.
Yeah, she definitely comes to play every game, every match. She's often our kill leader for each of our matches. She is also an emotional leader as well. She comes with lots of energy, positivity, encouragement, and so that's what gets the other girls going as well on the court. And so it's a really important aspect that Macy has.
Cameron Koletsky added 11 kills and 6 digs as well, while Camille McDermott, 31 assists, 8 digs, 3 kills, and an ace. And then, of course, Peyton Mosier led in digs with 38. And she added a couple aces as well. So talking each of those, Coach, but also just how important is it having Peyton Mosier in that back?
Yeah, Peyton Mosier, she definitely hustles to balls. She doesn't give up on balls. And I think we definitely saw that in the second and third sets. No, there are very few balls that actually dropped in the back rows because Peyton was there and she picked them up, along with Camille and Cameron both picking up those balls, some more digs in the back row as well. Peyton just has some strong defensive skills and can read the ball pretty well, and so it's really important to have her back there. Cameron Koletsky, she got her hitting down this match and was on top of the ball and put the ball down and in places where Vermilion couldn't reach, which is really important. And Camille McDermott, she also always comes to play, much like Macy Drotzman. She comes out with energy, and she knows exactly the places to put the ball for both our hitters, but also on the other side when she's attacking and dumping a ball over as well.
And, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the sub-varsity. JV won that matchup 2-0. The freshman A team had a 2-0 victory. The B team fell 2-0. Kind of what did you see from the sub-varsity girls? I always like to ask coaches that because that's going to be your varsity players in the near future.
Yeah, of course. I know in the both freshman and JV matches, there was more communication and more energy. I think the girls it was clear that they were having more fun this match. That's kind of what we've been stressing and focusing on in practice lately, is just going out and playing with energy and having fun. Players always do better when they are having fun, and so just being able to do that and win those games is really important and just builds their confidence. In the JV match, they again came out with lots of energy, and we had some strong attackers on that end with Jay Jerry in the front row in the middle and Gracie Getzman on the outside. Some really strong attackers for them that helped them out.
Coach, you're going to have a couple of, and I'm sure more to follow, Yankton Gazelles going to continue playing volleyball post-graduation. Peyton Mosier signed with Dakota Wesleyan, I think it was last week. And then recently, Macy Drotzman committed to Mount Marty University. At Aberdeen Central, as this interview is playing, or following this interview being played, that's late afternoon up in Aberdeen. What can you tell me about the Golden Eagles?
They come with some height, some scrappiness, and they're always a tough team, especially when we're coming off a over a 3-hour bus ride up there. And so we just need to be ready, come out with lots of energy, have a positive warm-up, lots of talk and energy just in our warm-up alone to help us come out strong right away in that match.
Coach, always appreciate the time that you take to talk with us midweek, as all the weekends are often very busy, so I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, that was Coach Taylor Stacy joining me yesterday on the Pizza Ranch phone line. Thanks to Pizza Ranch for providing the coaches and myself pizza for this morning's show. Annie and the crew there at Pizza Ranch do an excellent job. All right, I did not catch up with Coach Ryan Haig of Yankton Gazelles tennis, and he was ready to go. He was willing to record like we always do. This is a situation that, and they're coming up on their ESD conference meet as well, and I really want to touch up. So they moved up the football game, as we all know from yesterday, and it was during that time that I was going to be contacting Coach Ryan Haig to interview, and had to get on the road and stuff. So I told him we'll make sure we spend extra time next week. But I do want to go over the results for Yankton Gazelles tennis. Gazelles split their regular season finale. That was at home at the NFAA Easton Center. That was on Thursday. Gazelles beat Sioux Falls, Washington 7-2. Nora Kraske, Sabrina Kraske, Addison Gordon, Carolyn Corner, Megan Scott each won in singles, and then Sabrina and Nora Kraske, as well as Scott and Corner, won in their doubles matchups. And then Yankton fell to Harrisburg 5-4. While Nora Kraske, Anna Bauman, and Carolyn Corner won their singles, and Nora and Sabrina Kraske won their doubles. The ESD Conference Tournament in Pierre. That's this coming Monday. It's at 2 o'clock. Good luck to the Yankton Gazelles tennis squad on that. And it's been a fun season to keep up with the Yankton Gazelles. Very exciting for them. All right, Yankton Gazelles soccer. The Gazelles tied West Central 0-0, if you will, on Thursday night. That's 0-0. And our very own, in the voice of Yankton Soccer, Braden Butler, KYNT sportscaster Braden Butler, caught up with Coach Shearing in that post-game interview. They also preview today's matchup with Aberdeen Central, and we'll go ahead and play that here in a second. Yes, we will. So here's that interview with Braden Butler and Coach Tyler Shearing of Yankton Gazelle Soccer.
We bring in head coach Tyler Shearing of the Yankton Gazelles. Coach Shearing, a 0-0 draw on the board going up against a West Central team that's near the top of Class A right now are these Trojans. And you and I were talking a little bit before we get back on the air here, a new formation you were using out there today. If you could talk about that and how you felt like it worked against West Central.
Yeah, we just felt like we needed to make a few more adjustments to help control the midfield. And, I thought, just adding in another player in there helped out. I thought we were able to make some really good connections, got some really good possession at times. Unfortunately, once we got into the attacking half, we struggled, to kind of really make that final combination that we're still working on. But I thought overall it was a really good game, working out of a new system. But the girls worked hard. Defensively, I thought, we really didn't have a big scare tonight. West Central, they pushed us back a little bit at times, but I thought Hannah did really good in goal. I thought the defensive line, for the most part, was pretty solid. And, I thought the midfield did a good job as well.
I want to talk about the defensive backline and the midfielders that contributed to it as well. It did not feel like West Central was able to get out of the attacking front foot and get many shots on goal. I believe only 3 or 4 of them all game long, and Kruger saving all of them except for one was body blocked away by Aubrey Lloyd. So as you mentioned, good defensive showing in the box midfield as well to help control possession. Is that crucial for keeping the teams off of that attacking front foot when they're trying to go back against the Gazelles?
Yeah, this was a game that was played a lot in the middle third. It was two teams that like to possess the ball a little bit. So we would possess for a little bit, have a little turnover. They would do the same thing. Both teams, I think, struggled to really make that final pass to really get that really good look. I thought overall it was a pretty evenly matched team against, I think, two pretty decent teams.
Looking ahead now with the end of the season right around the corner for you guys, the end of the regular season. Right now you are in that playoff scenario where 13 seed coming in the seed point standings. You got one last home matchup here in the regular season, Saturday against Aberdeen Central, and then you go on the road to conclude the regular season against Sioux Falls Roosevelt. We'll start with Aberdeen Central, if you can tell me what you see from them heading into that matchup. A quick turnaround.
Yeah, Aberdeen, they're going to be a really good team. They're state champion or in the state finals last year. Got a solid midfield. Their front line is exceptionally good. They've got some really good pace up there that we're going to have to be aware of. They've got their forwards they move off the ball really well. You're going to find watching the game, they do not stand still at all. So just making sure that we're keeping track of them. They're going to run off sides, run back on sides. So they're going to try to drag our defense around until they can find those through balls. So it's going to be a challenge for us to make sure that our line doesn't get pulled apart. So we're going to have to make sure that we stay exceptionally disciplined there. And hopefully we can just play our game and control the ball a little bit and limit their opportunities. And, most of all, we hope that the weather cooperates with us.
There's rain this morning, and there's more weather potentially coming here over the weekend. So hopefully it does cooperate. One final home doubleheader there with the Gazelles playing Aberdeen Central in that one. And then next week, to end the regular season, you got Sioux Falls Roosevelt. What are you expecting from the Rough Riders?
Roosevelt's one of those teams where I don't know what to expect. They're good, can be really good. Their down can be very average. They can play really good against the good teams, but they can play down to some of the lower teams. So you just never know what you're going to get out of their team this year. So we're going to go in there really expecting their best. Their midfield is usually very strong. Defense is going to be big and physical. You got to expect up there in Sioux Falls that they're going to find some forwards that can find the back of the net. So we're gonna expect a very solid Sioux Falls team, just like any other time we head up there. So we're going to have to bring our best soccer, and that's going to be our final one heading into the playoffs. So, we're hoping to bring our best foot, not only as a preparation for the playoffs, but also to give us our best opportunity to move up a couple spots as we head into the playoffs.
Well, Coach, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. As always, after this one, good luck in your final 2 regular season matches. We'll talk to you again Saturday after that one, and then hopefully get off on the right foot heading into these playoffs.
Thank you, and as always, we always appreciate you being here and live streaming these for us, and I know that our fans out there really appreciate the commentary as well.
All right, that was a post-game coach interview with Coach Tyler Schering that was conducted by Braden Butler, and then also Braden Butler caught up with Coach Dave Dannenbring of Yankton Bucks Soccer Thursday evening. The Bucks defeated West Central 7-0. And that was a strong start for the Bucks. They were able to play a lot of their depth on the field at Crane Youngworth, and just an excellent performance from Yankton. Let's hear what Coach Dave Dannenbring had to say to Braden Butler post-game.
Now, Coach, we'll talk about the game in due time, but I did see you shake your head a little bit there when I said O'Gorman winning 2-1. That's a team that you are competing with right now for one of those top seeds in Class AA. Currently, they were second, you were third heading into this one, so that's one where you might have been hoping that one goes the other way in Brookings' favor instead of O'Gorman.
Well, it just surprises me how close that game is. I mean, O'Gorman is really good, and that just goes to show again how the last 2 years in soccer, in boys soccer, there's anybody can win on any given day. That's where we go out to Pier on Tuesday, and we really should have walked all over them, and they play up to our level, and we just can't put the ball in the net. And that's where I would have thought O'Gorman would have walked all over Brookings. And again, that's the hard part about now the playoffs coming up, that even if we're ranked third or fourth, we're going to play those teams that are 13, 14, and golly, we've got to really be on our A game, and that's why you have the playoffs, and that's why it's fun. But wow, that just surprises me that they did that.
Yeah, there are no built-in bye weeks when it comes to Class AA boys soccer here in the state of South Dakota. And talking about this game today, a team playing up from Class A in the West Central Trojans. Very resounding victory for Yankton. Scoring got started very early. A hat trick from Lance Dannenbring. Goals as well from Byron Jimenez, Nels Hansen, Tony Guitron, and Jaden Dorzak, the lone goal in the second half. What did you see out there from your team that really led to the free-flowing attack we saw early on?
Well, these are tough games in a way, because you look at records and you look at what's happened to them in this season. They're a really young program. They just started the boys program last year, and it's hard to really get mentally prepared. And I told them we have to come out, we have to practice moving the ball, we have to score goals on good buildups and good plays, instead of, okay, we're going to launch it down the field and outrun them, like we used to do in U10 and U12 soccer with the one fast kid. And we did some of those things. We started to move the ball, and we had some pretty good goals. They had a penalty, which, it was a handball right in front of the goal, and, so we get a penalty kick. But our boys did a good job of communicating, and I really pressed them a little bit about how they need to practice becoming champions on any given moment, which they get up 3 goals and they kind of have, this is going to be a cakewalk, and then they stop communicating and they stop passing the ball quick. They stop opening their hips when we're trying to move the ball to the other side of the field, and those are the kind of things that we just can't practice doing poorly. And so that was their challenge of, let's do those well. Let's get 5 goals, and then we'll bring the young guys in and force them to do the same thing, because West Central really stepped it up. They played hard the whole game. They have some good players. They are pretty decently coached, in that they had guys trying to move to space and do all the things that soccer teams do, and I really give them a lot of credit for doing that in their second year. And it turned out to be good for our young boys to get out there and have to move the ball, and it shows us our deficiencies on our first touch, which I've been harping on that the whole year. And it turned out to be a good second half of soccer for everybody. And so good night around, all the way around.
I had to talk about a couple players. I mentioned them a little bit already. Lance Dannenbring with a hat trick after catching a brace last week on senior night, so he seems to be really finding his form late in the season. I don't know how much you would be willing to or want to expand on it, but I did see him with some ice on his knee. Is that just precautionary for, I know he's still coming back from that injury?
Well, he's struggled ever since he had knee surgery the 19th of July, where, you open up that capsule in the knee, and, he sat out a month, and he just wants to make sure to keep the swelling down, and he's just always got a little bit of swelling in there. We do ultrasound, we do some E-stim. I know he did that this afternoon before the game, and just a little precautionary, but he does have a little bit of swelling in there. He goes so hard, which is great, and we just hope that he continues to improve that way, with his knee and get stronger. And I've got to give him some props. I know he's my son. Sometimes he gets a raw deal because I don't want to compliment him, like other players. I don't want them to think that he's getting special treatment, but he's worked really hard, and he's able to control the ball, and sometimes the ball stays on his foot in times that we just don't think it should, and that's just a skill that is fun to watch, and he really brings that added dimension and that security to our midfield, and it brings everybody else up. And so really, really proud of him for what he's done, and the leader that he's been. And as a captain, and Ty Bindi and Simon Scholes, and really all the seniors that have just been good guys to be around to really work with the young ones and make our team better.
I don't think you can say enough about this senior class, especially their leadership on the field. I know Ty Bendy's shown the willingness and ability to play almost anywhere. Lance is great in the midfield, really controlling the offense. And Simon Schultz is great at his right wingback spot, and I even saw the run he made through the midfield going on the attack, and it seems like they're great leaders out there as well as this entire senior class. And you can see that rubbing off as the other 4 goals all made by underclassmen, sophomores with Byron Jimenez, Nels Hansen, Jaden Dorzak, and then freshmen with Tony Guitron. So it really is bringing in that next generation of Buck soccer.
Well, that's how you want it. You want to have those different classes, the ages spread out, so every year you have some that have experience and they can bring the next group up there. And we have a great sophomore class, and luckily Tony Guitron moves in, and a lot of times you have those really good players that move away for one reason or another, but to have him come in, it was a great addition there. And you talk about those seniors and what they've done, and Ty Bindi came to me at halftime and he said, I'm sorry. He said, sometimes I stand back there, and if we are doing well in the attacking third, we kind of fall asleep back here, and then we make some bad plays. And for him to recognize that, because it is easy to fall asleep back there a little bit, get a little complacent, especially when our midfielders are controlling the ball. And so for him to recognize that and communicate that and try to communicate that to the other guys back there, all of those little things go into, maybe that's the one little thing that will put us over the top to where you win a state title. Because I keep harping on 2 years ago when we won, that we were one penalty kick away from being done and everybody going home and not moving any farther in the playoffs. And so every little single thing can help, and that's like tomorrow we're getting together at somebody's house and having dinner, and just all those things that I think are building a team, building that unity, and I think every little bit counts.
Looking ahead for you, you got a couple games left in the regular season, then you make that playoff push, starting with Aberdeen Central on Saturday and then hitting the road for your final game against Sioux Falls Roosevelt next week. We'll start with that matchup with Aberdeen Central. From the sounds of it, weather permitting, with how much rain we might be getting this weekend, but how are you preparing for that one?
Aberdeen's a good team. They've always been good. They started off the season a little slow, and now they've been on a pretty good win streak. And so we know we're going to have our work cut out for them. That's just become a pretty good rivalry. We're going to have to really work. Tomorrow we're going to be out here. We're going to share the field with the girls so that we're on turf and we get to feel the speed. But we're going to have to prepare for Aberdeen and how they spread the offense out like O'Gorman does. And they create space, and they have enough guys that can handle the ball that we're gonna have to be on our toes. And so I think it's going to get down to which team is really going to make one great play, because I think we're pretty evenly matched in a lot of ways. We'll be happy to have Jack Pedersen back. Jack was out tonight, hurt his knee a little bit in Pier. So having that speed and that ball handling ability up top, I think will make a big difference. And we're gonna go out there and play. I hope the weather holds off, but whatever happens, and both teams will play in that environment, and we'll go after it.
And then season finale coming up next week, Sioux Falls Roosevelt. How are you looking forward to that one heading into the playoffs?
Well, there again is a team that's at the bottom third of the division, and on any given night they could come out and just play really hard. They've had some adversity with their goalie that was had made some state news where he went up for a ball here last week, and another kid came and was going to try to header it in, and they hit heads and broke the goalie, a bunch of bones in the goalie's face, and he had surgery. And stuff like that sometimes is the rallying point for teams, and we're going to have to be ready for them when we head up to Sioux Falls.
All right, Coach, I got one more question for you before you head out. You talked about it early in the season. We've heard about it every now and then. How's the cake looking that you guys are baking?
Well, we think pretty good. I was disappointed in Pier. we had to sit down and analyze why we felt so horrible about that game, because a lot of we just kind of sat there, we're like, wow, did that just happen? We just didn't run the plays, and we didn't make the angles. I'm trying to find the best words for that to put the ball in the net. And so that was a setback that I think we put our finger in the batter and are kind of like, maybe it's not sweet enough. Maybe we need some more sugar, or in cooking, when it doesn't taste good, maybe a little butter. And so we're hoping tomorrow in practice, Saturday against Aberdeen, that's the extra butter that we need for that cake, and then we'll be ready to roll.
All right, well, thank you for always taking the time to talk, or thank you as always for taking the time to talk to me, Coach Dannenbring. Big win tonight, and good luck this weekend against Aberdeen, and then next week against Sioux Falls Roosevelt.
All right, and thanks again for you guys being here, and it's so nice to have for the fans.
Well, hopefully those games are going to go off without weather delays. I don't know if that will happen, but we will see what the weather brings. That is, as of right now, an 11:30 a.m. pregame start for the Yankton Gazelles, followed by the Bucks. 12 o'clock is the opening kick, and we'll be there. KYNT, KYNTV, Braden Butler on the call, and then tonight, followed by Mount Marty University Lancer football. So that's all tonight. Weather, I think they're going to get the games in, so it might just be late starts and delays and whatnot, but Aberdeen Central coming to town. All right, Yankton Cross Country. Coach Caitlin Savvy is not in here this morning. We contacted each other this morning, and the reason she's not here is because Thursday's Invitational at Fox Run Golf Course was rescheduled due to weather, and will now take place on October 2nd, and will begin at 4:15. So we don't have a competition to talk about, but their next competition is at South Sioux City's Jeffrey C. Dibble Soccer Complex. That's on Thursday, beginning at 4. Excuse me. All right, and then Yankton competitive dance and cheer. I have both Coach Stacy Reichen and Coach Madeline Gable on recorded interviews for you. We'll start with Coach Gable. Yankton competed at Brookings last Saturday, and then at Huron on Tuesday. We'll go ahead and start with Coach Madeline Gable. All right, let's start talking Yankton competitive cheer with Coach Madeline Gable. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Hey, first of all, how many years do you think it's going to take for everyone to call you Coach Gable and not Coach Wells?
Well, you know what? I've kind of given up on trying to switch it over. My students call me Miss Gable, but the girls still call me Coach Wells, or just Coach, and that's fine. Whatever works for them. I know it's hard to remember, so not a big deal.
Well, let's quickly talk about your competitions you've had this past week. You were at Brookings, and you earned an 8th place finish out of the 19 teams, and it's kind of right in the middle there. That's a good performance. Why don't you walk us through that performance a little bit?
Yeah, so we actually we got 0 deductions at that meet, which was awesome. We've been kind of keeping that pattern throughout the season. There was one meet where we got 10 deductions for just a small thing like earrings. We left our earrings in. So it wasn't any technicalities with like the stunts or anything like that, which is great. So we've been holding that deductions down to a 0, which has been giving us a really solid score overall at all the competitions. I was really impressed with them at Brookings. They did a really great job. There was a few things with timing and then some just sloppy motions or sloppy stunts that they did. So we worked hard on that to get that back up there for that meet that we just had on Tuesday in Huron. And I don't know, I think the girls they're starting to realize, like, you know, we do got this. We can do these skills that these bigger schools are doing. We just got to, like, give it our all. And it's got to be all 14 of them, not just 5 of them. So they're starting to get the hang of that. And it's definitely showcasing that for sure.
2-part question here quickly. You finished 5th at the Huron Invitational, a score of 211. And what I'm seeing from all these scores throughout the season, Coach, is improvement, but also just consistency. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. It's definitely showing me that they're definitely getting better. There's certain things, obviously, we still need to work on. And there's a few, like, skill-wise things that we need to get up there to level 5 in order to really get that score of a 240, which is what the routine was built for. So the girls, you know, along with confidence, and the more that they're starting to see and understand that they are capable of getting that higher score and reaching more into that mid-200s, you know, and higher, then I think they're going to be set up for great success for ESD and state. And that's our whole plan, right? Like, we go through these competitions and we work really hard, and we change things to get better scores, and we keep focusing on the things that we're messing up on so that we can change that and move forward. And so I think that they're catching on, and they're handling with great strength and passion, and they're going to do really well. And I'm excited to see them finish the season.
As this plays on Saturday, you'll already be in competition at Harrisburg. How is that environment there for dance and cheer competitions?
Oh, man, it is busy. So that's one of the earlier competitions. It starts earlier in the morning, but it finishes earlier in the afternoon, which is really great. There are a lot of teams there. I believe I think there's like 18 or 19 cheer teams. So we're hoping to either keep our place where we are, if not shoot up a little bit higher, and beat our score of 211. That's what we got on Tuesday. So that's always our goal, beating our score from the meet before. So fingers crossed, and they're going to do great.
Well, Coach, thank you for carving out a little bit of time for us today. I know you have to get going. I appreciate you joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks to Coach Malagable. And now we'll turn attention to Coach Stacy Reichen in the competitive dance portion. And here is that interview.
All right, let's start talking Yankton competitive dance. Joining us on the Pizza Ranch phone line, Coach Stacy Reichen. Coach, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Recording this on a Thursday, so as this plays on Saturday, you will be at the Harrisburg Invitational. We'll get to that in a moment, but we have a couple of events I'd like you to go over with me. Last Saturday at Brookings, Yankton finished on the podium, 266.75 score. That was a 15-team field. We'll have another event to talk about after this one, but tell me a little bit about that Brookings event. That's a really nice finish.
Yeah, we were really happy with how things turned out for us in Brookings. It was a really good warm-up time with the girls. They mixed the order up a little bit, so hip-hop ended up going first. Normally, hip-hop goes at the end, so we had a little bit of time to kind of sit and just be in the arena and kind of take everything in. And then we had a nice long warm up. We ended up when the cheer group was done, then we went back to get ready, and we were able to warm up together as a team really well. Got the turns nailed down solidly. We had added a couple of different turning sequence into our jazz dance, so we're excited to see how that went on the floor. And then performed our jazz and our pom and came out with some really great scores. Really great comments. The girls were very excited with the results. They've been working hard all season, and to see that come through on the scores and the comments from the judges, I was extremely proud of them for finally getting their feedback that they've been looking for all season. So that was a really great thing for our team.
And then Tuesday, Yankton competed at the Huron Invitational, and Coach, you took home the top spot. Congratulations. That is a huge deal. A 268.25 score, just beating out Sioux Falls, Washington by half of a point. So it really did come down to the wire. Take us through it.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun thing for us. We've been working, like I said, I mean, I don't consider just this year working hard. I mean, these girls work hard. They've worked hard, the seniors now for 4 years, the juniors for 3 years. We have 11 upperclassmen. So we really have a lot of talent that has been through the sport a lot. But yeah, our jazz dance, we were the second ones on the floor. And I watched the dance from the front. Gerald is up, my husband, Madison's dad is in the stands watching, and he'll tell me, hey, it looked good. Because he can see it from up above. He can see the formations. He can see the patterns. He said, they looked good. Things were together. And I said, okay, that's great. I don't watch the iPad because we do tape our dances. I don't watch it in the middle of the meet because if something goes wrong, I don't want to put the pressure on them for the next dance. I knew that their dance was emotional. I had a couple of people comment to me that they got chills watching our girls perform their jazz dance and just how beautiful and graceful they are on the floor. And at the times when they need to be powerful and strong, they're powerful and strong together. Again, we had turns that the turns went. I could see the turns were hitting. So it was really exciting to me. And then we came in and with our pom dance, and again, that worked really good. And then it's just a waiting game. So we did our pom, and then Sioux Falls, Washington ended up doing their pom right after us. And so the way the Huron Arena is set up, you can watch the dances from the front actually. And Sioux Falls, Washington, they are a powerhouse program. They come to win every time. So watching it from the front, like there were some things that I knew that normally they execute, but they didn't on Tuesday night. So I kind of thought, I think we might have just beat them in Palm. Like that might happen tonight. So they read the scores off, and our Jazz score was like 258. Washington did not do Jazz. So we had first in that category. Then Palm came and they were reading, fifth place, fourth place, third place. They said second was Sioux Falls, Washington, and they hadn't said our team. And so that was the first big, huge milestone we had, was that we beat Sioux Falls, Washington in a Palm dance. They've been working towards that goal for a long time. And they were just thrilled. And then they read the hip hop scores. And of course, we don't do hip hop. So they read off, and Washington had won that category. And I was sitting with the peer coaches for dance and cheer. We were sitting together while the scores are being read. And they turned and looked at me, and I said, I can't do the math that fast, because they average the two dances together and average it divided by 2, and that's your overall score. Like, I can't get that math done fast enough. I don't know if we had enough in Palm to offset their hip hop. And so it was, only by a half a point, but a win is a win. And the girls, that was a huge achievement for our team. We came home, talked about the next day. Wednesday, we were back in the gym at 6:30 in the morning. Today, on Thursday, we practiced again this morning, and okay, we've gotten to this level. How are we going to stay at that level? What's our next goal that we want to, chisel away at, so that eventually at the state tournament we can be on our A games. But yeah, it was a fun celebration for our girls. We're going to take that win, and to watch it as a coach, to watch them cheer and jump up and down and take pictures afterwards, and the smiles on their faces, that was worth every minute of preparation that I have out of the gym, every minute of practice that they've put in the gym, the hours that they spend getting things ready. It was a huge accomplishment for our team. I was very proud of them.
Well, congratulations to you and the team. That is a huge accomplishment. Coach, what other, you have some performances coming up as well, right? Football games and stuff. Where can other people see you?
Yeah, so we're going to compete Saturday, like you said, we'll be in Harrisburg. Then next week takes us into homecoming. And so that's always a busy week for a dance team and for cheer, because you're talking the spirit squads together. So our girls are going to perform at Coronation. We will do that on Thursday night. They will also be performing at, it's not open to the public, but they are putting together a thing for the Gong Show for their peers at the high school. So that's Friday morning. Then we'll have the parade that they will walk in Friday afternoon. And then Friday night, they will perform their Gong Show routine at the football game. So everybody will get to see that. If you come out to the football game to support the Bucks, sit for halftime, because the dance team's going to do something. And then Saturday, we will go to the Pentagon that evening. So it's kind of a nice, it's a nighttime one on a Saturday, which is normally not when it happens. So I'm kind of thankful, because my girls will have a busy week. They can sleep in a little bit on Saturday morning. We'll head up to Sioux Falls after lunch, and then the meet starts at 5 at the Pentagon. So yeah, we got a lot going on next week. Coming off of 2 weeks that we've had 2 meets. And it's hard for me to say, but the season is already halfway done. We've done 5 meets. We have 5 meets left. So I'm trying not to think about the end with this group. Every week I'm just focusing on this meet that's in front of us. But I won't lie that on Tuesday night when they were in Huron and they were dancing, my brain kind of shifted for 5-10 seconds to the end, and I started to get a little teary-eyed. And so I thought, I can't do this yet. I need to hold myself together. So I just brought myself back to, we're in Huron right now. Let's not think about ESD and state, and that's the last one for those 7 seniors. Let's just stay in the moment right here. So it's coming. We all know it's coming, but I think all of us on the team are in denial that it's coming, because we just want to enjoy every moment that we have together. They really enjoy each other. I enjoy being around them. It's just a lot of laughter, a lot of smiles. It's a very connected group.
Well, love to hear that, Coach. Again, congratulations on the victory, and thanks for letting us know all your very busy, as you said, very busy you guys are going to be here in the near future. But as always, I want to say thank you for joining us here on the Coach's Corner.
You bet. Thanks, Bryce.
All right, thanks to Coach Stacy Reichen, Yankton Competitive Dance. Again, they are at Harrisburg Invitational right now. All right, and so we have our last segment is YHS Nation. Of course, every week we try to highlight a non-athletic activity at Yankton School District. And today we will play on YHS Nation Jeff Erickson's interview with Angela Larson, Yankton School District Choir Director, talking about the upcoming Evening with the Stars choir concert. And go ahead and play YHS Nation.
Welcome in here to YHS Nation. YHS Nation's look inside at the activities and events going on around Yankton High School in the coming week, as well as a more in-depth look at a specific activity in our weekly interview segment. This week's interview is with Mrs. Angela Larson, the YHS Choir Director, about their upcoming concert Evening with the Stars on Monday. This interview was conducted by Jeff Erickson of the Totally Yankton Morning Show here on KYNT. We go to that now.
Good morning, Mrs. Larson. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
What time do you have to be to school by? Because I don't want you to be late and get in trouble.
As long as I'm there by 8, we're good. I usually get there about 7:30, though.
Well, if you need a pass, I can write you out a pass.
That'd be great.
Thanks for coming in. We're going to talk about Evening with the Stars coming up next Monday, a great musical opportunity for people to check out. But first, a few other questions. You back into the swing of things for the new school year?
Yeah, I feel like this week I'm finding my groove. It took a little while. I have a little bit of a different schedule this year, but I felt like this week I kind of hit my groove, so that's good.
You know, sports and academics can bring so many good things to a student's life. What about music? What can music bring to a young person as they look forward to what's next in life?
Oh gosh, so much. Even though it's not a sport, it sounds crazy, but teamwork is a big thing because, you know, a choir is a big group of students, and if you miss one or two, it can really make a difference. So I think teamwork is a big thing. A lot of kids, you know, they just need to find a safe place and a place where they feel comfortable. And choir is that place for a lot of kids. It helps with their confidence and building friendships. So I see a lot of value in the arts.
Did you ever think growing up in Salem, South Dakota, I'm going to be a choir director someday?
You
and
know,
who was your choir director in Salem?
Okay, so my director was Teresa Keene. And growing up, I took piano lessons and I just loved it. I often wanted to quit at periods of time, and my mom didn't let me, which was wise of her. And so music was my life growing up, and it was one of those things where everyone kept telling me, you should go into music, and I was resistant at first because I wanted to do what I wanted to do and not what everyone else was telling me to do. But then when it came down to it, there was a realization one day. It's like, yeah, this is what I need to do.
Well, let me test your recall here a little bit. You know, in sports, there's football, volleyball, basketball, cross country, soccer, on and on. So many places kids can land. What about the different places at YHS for music? How many different things can they go for?
There's a lot of different things. You know, there's choir, band, and orchestra, and even just within those, there's different things. Like, for example, the band, you can be in marching band, jazz band, pep band. Then you can try out for the all-state events like all-state band and all-state jazz band. And then we have our theater department, and there's 3 shows a year. There's a fall play, 1 act, and the musical. And so then you can even dip into like journalism and all those things that are part of the fine arts. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities for our kids at Yankton.
Let's do a shout out to the other music professionals at YHS along with you. More recall. I didn't tell you.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Test you this much. Who else is doing what you do at YHS?
So Gwen Wenish is our band director, and she gets helped out some by Tessa Belgum, who's at the middle school doing band. And then we have a new orchestra director, Marissa Farrow. So she's at the high school, and then she also does middle school and 5th grade orchestra as well.
Let's talk about Evening with the Stars. It's coming up Monday at the theater. And let's start with the theme because I love the theme.
Thanks. I've really tried hard to not reduplicate themes in the time I've been here, and this is my 17th year. So it forces me to get a little bit creative to not reduplicate it. So this year is the King, Queen, and Aces. So the King is obviously Elvis. And then Queen, the band. And then Aces would be any number 1 hit. And any year, any genre. So that's kind of how I came up with that. And then the tickets look like playing cards.
Look at you theming it
I
out.
know.
That's
I'm
pretty
impressed with
creative.
myself.
Yeah.
So, speaking of tickets, this is a fundraiser, this concert. It's the only one of the school year where people need to pay to get in. It's $5 a ticket. You can get them at the door. So, yeah, it should be a fun night.
So if you have an activity pass, that's just keep it in your pocket for this night. And I mean, $5, who can argue with that for what you're putting together on stage?
Yeah, it should be a good night.
So what groups are all going to be in action on Monday night?
So each choir will be singing. So that's our freshman concert choir, upperclassmen concert choir, and then our top choir, which is called a cappella choir. And then the concert features students were able to audition in small groups if they wanted, like with some of their friends. They could put together a group singing a song that just met the theme. And then seniors could also audition for solos. So we have a handful of senior solos singing and a few special small groups, if you will.
So it's a fundraiser. I'm sure that a choir has lots and lots of expenses. What are some of the things that you can see this money going towards?
Well, if students sold tickets in advance, which that's kind of coming to an end, that can go in their individual choir accounts and go towards a trip. So the a cappella choir and then any seniors take a trip every other year, and this year is a trip year. So the proceeds help those students out. And then the choir boosters also, like if you buy your ticket at the door, that goes to the choir boosters, and they help with the trip. And then our students wear uniforms at our concerts, fancy dresses and tuxes. And, you know, we hire wonderful people to help with those, like fit them and alter them and clean them. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work that the money from this event will help with the expenses of.
17 years, you still having a good time? You still enjoying what you do?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, just like any job or whatever, you know, you're going to have a bad day, but the good outweighs the bad. And, you know, teenagers can kind of get a bad name, but they're really fantastic. They're awesome. So
I'm glad that you see that in them.
Yeah.
Good. 7 o'clock Monday night, Evening with the Stars. Check it out at the YHS Theater. All are welcome. Thanks for doing what you do. Oh,
You
one
bet.
quick question. Do you know about Yankton Area Arts, Yankton's Got Talent competition?
You know, I just saw them posting about that on Facebook, so I need to get that info out to some of my students and those band students and orchestra and check that out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. All right. Thanks for coming in. Let's get you back to school and have a great homecoming week, too.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you once again to Jeff Erickson for conducting that interview and Mrs. Angela Larson for taking time out of her day to talk to us here at KYNT. As was mentioned in the interview, it is homecoming week for Yankton High School this week as we turn our attention to next week's activity calendar. Gets started on Monday with the boys varsity ESD meet for golf. That's held at Fox Run Golf Course in Yankton, beginning at 10 a.m. And the girls varsity tennis ESD tournament, day 1 of 2 out in Pier. That begins at 2 p.m. The high school choir concert, Evening with the Stars, 7 p.m. Monday evening at the YHS Main Theater. Jumping ahead to Tuesday now, day 2 of the tennis girls varsity ESD meet out in Pier. That begins at 8 a.m. Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer are on the road against Sioux Falls Roosevelt. The Gazelles play first at 4 p.m. with the Bucks playing at 6. And varsity volleyball, the Gazelles have a match out in Sioux Falls as they take on Jefferson. First serve, 7 p.m. Jumping ahead now to Thursday, September 28th, cross country have a varsity invitational in South Sioux City at the Jeffrey C. Dibble Soccer Complex. Girls varsity will run at 4 p.m. with boys varsity running at 4:30. Also taking place on Thursday is the High School Athletic and Fine Arts Hall of Fame induction ceremony and reception at the High School Commons. That runs from 5 to 7. The high school homecoming coronation from 7 to 8. And the burning of the Y from 8 to 8:30. That will take place after the coronation. And then Friday, September 29th, the homecoming parade gets started at 2:30. The Athletic Booster Club has a tailgate from 5:30 to 7. And to end homecoming week, the football team, the Yankton Bucks, come back home to take on Brookings. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage right here at KYNT, KYNTV beginning at 6. It's a full lineup of activities and events for homecoming week for Yankton. Bucks and Gazelles teams across multiple sports in action all week long. It's going to be a fun one for homecoming. Thank you once again to Mrs. Angela Larson for talking about the choir concert with Jeff Erickson. This has been another edition of YHS Nation here on KYNT, KYNTV. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, be good people, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, thanks to Braden Butler and YHS Nation. And folks, that wraps up the Coach's Corner this morning. 16 minutes over my scheduled time, so I got to get going. Got to get over to Crane Younger Field. Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer doubleheader, and then Mount Marty football later tonight. Congratulations to the Yankton Bucks football team last night. Thanks to all the coaches of all sports for coming in here this morning. And most importantly, thank you to you for listening or viewing on KYNT and KYNTV. Thanks to Pizza Ranch. Thanks to our sponsors making this possible. So go Bucks, go Gazelles, go enjoy the rest of your weekend. This has been the Coach's Corner.
FM 102.1 and AM 14.